don't need a.
It's good.
Reaction I wanted.
That's awesome. All right, guys. So jumping right in, right? Let's talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. All right?
What?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
You're making up words?
So, speaking of which,
Yu-Gi-Oh
you guys have played some iconic characters in Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
and Mike.
I think all of you have played some iconic characters. So, when you got that casting opportunity to get your roles, what was that like when you knew you would be in a iconic show which has trading cards attached to it, which has video games attached to it? What was that like for you guys when you guys got that role?
We didn't know it was an iconic show because for every hit show we work on about 20 shows that none of you have ever heard of. So we were happy to, I'll speak for myself, sorry. I was happy to have a job, but I had no idea if it was going to be successful or not.
Yeah, I think maybe Dan brought it up when he was up here before, but we didn't know until Yugi was on the cover of TV Guide that this was actually being seen by people. And it was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I thought fighting Udons was going to be the big one.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I knew. I always considered myself iconic,
Absolutely.
JTR.
and then it was just like a prophecy fulfilled. So,
I also knew. I knew going into the booth. There was a kind of a magic, and so yeah. Just kidding. Some of us haven't really knew.
That was
And
the
now here we are.
bathroom, not the booth. That was the bathroom.
Oh, that was the bathroom. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I knew because I went to school and I know what Egypt is. But I got lucky. I got cast as Mahad, and then he turns into the Dark Magician, which I had less sessions for, but is more iconic and important.
Fewer sessions. Not less.
In school, I went to public high school.
It was really cool. I didn't know it would be iconic.
Awesome.
I think you guys have said it all. I was just happy to get cast and have a regular role on a series. I wasn't really thinking about the brand. I was just psyched to have gotten my first female series regular, and it's great fun.
Awesome. Round of applause, everyone. All right, so on that note, I do have a personal question because I'm a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! All the characters, not just whoever's a star and whoever's not. I think they're all the main stars. But before I get into that, I do want to say one thing to every single one of you, whether it's this franchise or this IP that you played a role in, or any other roles you've ever played. Thank you so much for all the work you've ever did. And it makes me emotional, but like, if it wasn't for your sacrifices, your time, your efforts, away from your families, or with your families, or in the booths, however you did it, you made our childhoods bearable, or even just, you made us smile when we needed it most. So thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Now let's start answering questions seriously now because you said that.
Sorry about that. So,
Joke.
So, when you look back, right, and like I said, did you know you'd be on an iconic show or, in that world? But I think one of you really stretched on it. It wasn't until you saw the magazine, etc., right? So let's talk about after, right, the fact. So it's not probably before or maybe even during that it hit you, but at what point did it really hit you that you were on a very successful IP that had so much backing and, like I said, history from Japan, etc. with it? So if you don't mind sharing your experiences.
I think when we made the movie, that's and my friends' children were starting to know what we were working on or watching the series. But genuinely, when I saw our characters on the big screen, and we were recording in a huge studio, I think that was when we started to realize, oh, this is really a big deal.
The same. It's a funny thing because we were all very happy and very grateful to have work, and it's a funny thing that, if you talk to a lot of people that were part of a successful show, whether it's a, animated show or live action show or what have you, you're kind of doing the work, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh wow, people are really paying attention. So it's a strange thing, because for us it's just like, okay, we go into the booth and we here's our script, and then we do the work. And then out of nowhere, it's hugely successful. So it's just great. But then even after it's hugely successful, we're going into the booth and doing the work. So it's really the fans that are super excited about it, and then we're just grateful.
So this sounds silly, but it's when you have like a season 2 and a season 3. Like a lot of the shows we worked on, we'd be like biting food on, as you mentioned. We're like, when's the next season coming? And it just didn't. So with Yu-Gi-Oh, we kept having more seasons. So that was kind of how I would be like, oh, we had a break, but we get to go back. Because you have to remember, I know it's hard for some of you to imagine a world without social media. It's often, it was harder to know when something was a hit, because today you kind of know pretty quickly because you're tagged on a lot of stuff or you see it's trending. It would have been a very different, what are you doing? If you can't tell, we all really like each other and we're happy to see each other. So we give each other a hard time because we do like each other. But yeah, that's how I knew. It was like, oh wait, season 3. Oh, I guess it's good.
I came in season 5, so by then it was already a smash hit. But for me, when anything like
It was all
made
downhill
sense,
from there.
yeah, now the altitude's got me headaching. For me, I think the weird thing was when someone recognized me, and I was like, but it's a voice.
I know for me, shortly after my character at least had been running for a while, I was asked to do, along with some other actors, Darren once, to go to Australia and New Zealand for Comic-Con Zen. This was like in 2004, and it wasn't, when I was asked to do that, I had no conception that the show was in like any other. I didn't know it was like, oh, that makes sense, I guess. There would have been other English-speaking places, but it was like a shock that anyone would care. And then to go there, and then it was the first time I think I interacted with anyone who did care. Because again, because of the no social media, and because you're just a voice, there's like no interaction with the fans. So like for me, it was really like the first time talking to people who like actually were really excited about the show, and to get that feedback one-on-one, which feels very nostalgic. So it's
Awesome. Pun intended.
For me, it was like, I was also initially excited about the movie, but Duke has a very small scene in the movie. He's like waiting tables, so I was like, oh man. And then I went to see the movie, and again, I was excited, but I was like the only person in the theater that day, so I was like, oh. So I kind of really didn't realize it was a bigger deal until a couple of years ago. I started kind of doing some of these shows, conventions, and just like you were all saying, just meeting some of you and hearing what it meant to you and hearing your memories of it has kind of retroactively made me see, oh wow, that was kind of a big deal. So thank you all for that, because it's really special to hear what it means to you all. So.
Give yourself a round of applause, everyone. All right, so taking me to my next segment is favorite characters, favorite lines, favorite moments that you guys might have from either the show, from the characters that you played, or just any moments that really stick out to you, that really resonate, and knowing all the work that you were putting in.
Okay, I got one. Who I played? Joseph K. Wheeler. Joey Wheeler. There's a scene in the first season, maybe in the first or second episode, and it's not anywhere near as long as I'm going to make this pause, but Joey had to say a line about rescuing his sister. And to me, in my mind, recording it then and now, in my memory, it's this. I gotta win this duel, I gotta buckle down and do it for my sister. Serenity.
nowhere near that. 2 seconds long. That's so long.
Good night.
For me, it was in Duke's first arc when he's dueling Joey, and I just remember like that he challenges him and then he beats him and he makes Joey dress up in a dog suit and he's like chucking dice at Joey's head, and I was like, what show is this? Like, what am I doing right now? Because it was such a bizarre thing to see, animated or just a scenario in general. Like, dress up in a dog suit and I'm gonna throw dice at your head. It was very like, very, very crazy. Yes, yeah.
I'm Amy. I play Taya, but I also play Bones, and I think that was probably the weirdest thing. That working on Yu-Gi, they wouldn't allow me to audition for any characters that could potentially sound even a little bit like Taya. So when I auditioned for Bones, I had to make it really, really different, and I went in and I auditioned, and I gave him this really, really crazy voice, and then afterwards I was like, oh, I can't play that character. It's gonna kill my voice like forever. And they were like, you're hired. And so then I got cast as this character who, isn't in a lot, but then he comes back in the games, and like I had to bring him back. And so I don't know if it's like a funny memory, but it's just more like, oh well, bye voice.
It's like monkey's paw voice acting.
I don't know that I have it's actually very similar to Amy's story. I played Jack Atlas on 5Ds, and thank you. You've probably heard of him. And I went in to audition for Jack, and they said, "Do you have an Australian dialect?" And I kind of was like, I can try. I didn't really have one that was great, but I tried it. And then I went back for a callback, and they said, they really like the Australian, but can you maybe do it like a little bit less? So I was like, okay. So I did it slightly less Australian. And then I got the part, and they were like, they really love what you're doing with the Australian, but could you do it like even less than that? And so when people ask me like, so what exactly is Jack Atlas's dialect? Is it like Australian? And I'm like, he has a Jack Atlas dialect. It's not Australian, it's a little less Australian, is what I said. And then a little less than that, yeah. Fewer Australian.
So, I don't know what the deal is with 4 kids in Australian. When I was doing Ninja Turtles, we had a holiday break, and this is not the question, I'll get to it. But I'm playing Leonardo, right? And then they were like, oh yeah, we come back in a month. We're also playing this guy, I forgot his name, Parker. And so like, when we show up to record, they're like, oh, he's Australian. I'm like, what? You could have told me a month ago. I'd never been, I didn't know how to do it. I'm standing next to Veronica Taylor, who'd been there. I was like, how do I say cryogenic containment unit? Anyway, but I figured it out. It was good enough for jazz. Cryogenic containment unit? I don't know.
Crikey. That was really good.
And then I finally go to Australia, and they're like, can you do the accent? And I'm like, well, and I start saying, like I get half a syllable out. They're like, oh, that's rubbish. It's a country. It's a tough room, Australia. Anyway, so I came in season 5, right? I got cast as Mahad, then I got to do Dark Magician, and I was like, ooh, he's so intense and brooding. And I don't think I am. I play teenagers like heroes and nerds, and Mahad was young, which is why they cast me to do like this young boy who got bitten by a snake and then Yugi saves his life. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? And it's like on the day. So I think, okay, I don't sound anything like Dan. I can't. So I'll do my darndest to do an impression of Dan Green, and that won't sound like Dan Green, but it'll also be me devoting myself, as Mahad does, sacrificing himself to become the Dark Magician, to Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm like, it's meta. But I was like,
I have traveled through time and space to defend you, my Pharaoh.
anyway, it's borrowing it. It's not that great, but it's green.
Iconic.
It's a light green, but less. Like Dan, but less.
Let's go to Australia. I'm Tara Sands. I voiced Mokuba. And my memory, I think it might have been the 27th time he got kidnapped. And I think it was probably the time that I said, help! or maybe the time he said, Sento! Or Big Brother! Because usually my scripts were those three things in just different orders. I got kidnapped again! Yeah.
For me, it wasn't a vocal cue. There's one scene early on in getting to know Marek. I'm Jonathan Tad Ross. I played Marek and Yami Marek. And there's one scene, he like comes in, I forget who he's threatening, the gang. He goes into like a ballet position, puts his arms out and flies out of the scene. And we never speak of it again. Like that whole time he's just sleeping on the gift of flight. We're not going to return to it.
I'm Tony Salerno. I played Rex Raptor the third. And my I guess best memory of that from Yu-Gi-Oh, which are few and far between, was going in. And it was like, okay, so Tony, you need to kind of sound like Sam Riegel, who was the first one in the role. I'm like, okay, so I can kind of do Sam. I guess I can kind of do it. So yeah, I'll do it. I'm going to come in and go in and I play Rex. I'm doing it. They're like, yeah, but you know, you kind of need to sound a little bit like Sebastian Arceus, who replaced Sam. I'm like, okay, all right, so I'll just do what Sebastian did because I can do that. And I directed Shaman King. I worked with him. I didn't know. And they're like, Tony, that's not really sounding like Sam anymore. Like we can kind of go back to Sam. I was like, all right, okay, so I'm gonna do Sam. And then you're gonna do Sebastian. You're gonna do Sam. You're gonna do Sebastian. I'm like, so is Tony anywhere in this voice? Because this is the guy, but these are the guys. And I just remember at the end of the first session, I was like, I have another question. So this show is Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And I came in much later in the show. I was like, what the hell is Rex and Hilo doing right now? Because they were literally on some bizarre side quest that had nothing to do with dueling, had nothing to do with the show. They had some kind of weird chemistry going on, and I'm like, is this going to air? Because I'm not even sure what this has to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! And who the hell am I? Am I Sam? Am I Sebastian? It was very confusing, very difficult. So fortunately, I moved on to Chaz in GX, but then I couldn't just play Chaz. I had to play with Mark. So me and Mark played Chaz together. So basically, I don't play any role by myself. I have to do with other people because I get really nervous.
All right, that was awesome. Round of applause, everyone. Okay, Steve, so we're going to go into the next segment quickly. And we're going to play a game that I have created for you guys. So let's do it.
Is there prizes?
Maybe. And I'll explain everything in a few minutes. All right, so pretty much what we're doing is you're gonna have 1 minute to draw your characters, right? From memory, best you can. There's a lesson in this, but we'll let the audience judge your characters, and it won't be till I say stop that each one of you will turn it around and let everyone judge, okay? All right, ready, set, go. All right, we're 10 seconds in. Twenty seconds in. No pressure.
Somebody's got a joke.
Anyone got a joke here?
Knock knock. I eat mop. You do what?
All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right, so on the count of 3, you guys will turn it around, okay? 1, 2, 3. All right.
You're welcome for a physically accurate dark magician.
I love it. Okay, sweet. All right, seriously, round of applause, everyone. Awesome. All right, so the whole meaning of this was to show you guys, show everyone here why why artists and animators and voice actors do what they do and why they're so important to create the shows that we love so much. Without either of them, we wouldn't have what we have today.
Could AI do this?
No, it cannot. All right, okay, so we have just a couple of minutes for some questions. Anyone from the audience?
Try and erase this.
Hi, my name is Sang, and the question I have for all you guys is, in another multiverse, what job or occupation would you guys be doing?
Did he say multiverse? Superhero. I don't know. It's just some universe like in the stars saving the day. Sure. Sounds great. Better than what Marvel's been putting out lately. I like the Marvel movie.
I would fly. Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be. Well, I grew up in London, so I wanted to be a football player, and then I'd make a lot of money, and then I wanted to be a magician, so I could magic the ball into the goal and be the best football player. But then with my expensive car, I'd get speeding tickets, so I also want to be a cop. So I'd be a magician, soccer playing cop, so I could drive fast and get out of tickets with my expensive car.
My answer is so serious. I thought you had like another job. I was gonna say I probably would have wanted to be like a producer, but that is so boring. So now I want to be a superhero.
I just finished The Pit the other day, and I'm like, oh, I could have done that. I couldn't have done that, but now that there's no chance. Up until I was like, oh, The Pit is a medical drama on HBO. It's so good. And up until I was like, until she died in my late 30s, my grandmother was like, there's still time for you to be a doctor. But she started, like, her mind started going, so like I was toying with the idea of telling her I was. So like there was her multiverse.
I think I would want to have been independently wealthy so that I could have like 200 acres of property that I would put all of the rescue animals that I could ever find.
Give a round of applause for that one,
And I would just take care of them, and I would just live with the animals and have no human relationships with anybody else, because animals are way better than people. And I think that's what I would do. Sorry, that wasn't very funny.
I mean, if we're doing superheroes, I would want to be a Jedi. But if we're doing Earth 2, then I would do. Yeah, that's true. If multiverse threw it off. I kind of would like to be a director. Maybe I'd be interested in maybe doing that. But
I would like to be a superhero doctor / producer. Superhero / doctor / yes.
Rescues animals.
I would like to know what it feels like to be over 5 feet tall. That's it.
All right, so on that note, one last question. Anyone have?
Hey, my name's Rebecca. So question, for your characters in the show, what is one thing that you wished could have been in the show for your character? So maybe a duel you never faced, or like a moment, or maybe like a plot point that never got wrapped up, something like that, or maybe like an avenue that you wish your character would have explored that could have made it on the show.
In the Yugi multiverse, in a different Yugi multiverse, I think Yami Bakura should have battled Joey Wheeler. Yes, right? Yugi.
And Megan Hollingshead and Erica Stromgard will not back me up on this, but I wanted closure with Joey and Mai. Yeah. And I think Erica seems to think that they do get together and Megan doesn't. So I don't know who to believe anymore. I think they got together.
Give Amy the mic.
I wasn't done talking, but give Amy the mic. Now I'm done talking.
I think Taya deserved more duel time. She is undefeated in her couple of duels. I feel like she could have been more, central to the story. She was just sort of a nice heart character, someone who provided, sort of the emotional backbone of the show, but she wasn't really part of the dueling too much. And I don't know, I think they portrayed her a little bit, a little weak. That's true. That's true.
Maybe the Dark Magician could have spoken more. I would have appreciated that. Like, look, I'm not just a card. I have feelings. I used to be a boy in Egypt, and now you just shove me in a deck. Take me out sometimes. Show me the town.
I would have liked to see Mokuba running Kaiba Corp. And maybe standing up to Yugi to Seto once in a while. Dueling every now and then. Maybe? Is that asking so much?
I would have liked to see Merrick join the gang. What's going on today, guys? Where are y'all going? Let's get a soda.
All right.
I guess I think I probably would have liked Rex to have his own show. Rex and Weevil show, probably, because that's clearly where it was headed. But a crossover with Jurassic Park, because then I think that would fit with Rex's love of dinosaurs. Because he basically sort of just miserably kind of vanished from the show. He started out as a strong character, and then just they kind of went, oh right, there's this guy, we gotta put in the show once in a while. Why? I don't know. But so yeah, a little bit of a stronger finish for him would have been sweet.
I want Duke to open up a Dice jewelry and accessory store.
That's a good one. All right, so everyone, round of applause for all our legends.